What's up, everyone? It's your favorite optometrist, Dr. Darryl Glover. Today, I'm super excited because I get to hang out with a star, with a legend in the eye care industry, and one of my close friends. We actually go way back. I mean, way back. Friends and family, I'd like to welcome my colleague, one of the stars in eye care, Dr. Ryan Corte. Ryan, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing awesome, Darryl. I'm doing awesome. And honestly, for those who've been watching for a long time, this is my third time on with you. Isn't that crazy to think? Like, you've had this podcast going for years now, and this is my third time on, and it has just exploded. You were podcasting in optometry before there was even podcasts in general.
Well, I appreciate it, man. And for those that may not know, Ryan and I go back. We met many moons ago at Transitions Academy, and it's so crazy just to see all the stars that came out of Transitions Academy and all the things that everyone has done. One of the connections that I made during that event was with Ryan, and ever since then, we've really kept close tabs with each other. As a matter of fact, our wives actually share the same birthday, which is pretty cool. That when they met each other, they just kind of hit it off for the most part.
Man, they aligned perfectly. We were having dinner. It was one of the nights where we could go choose your own adventure dinner, and we went and grabbed a bite, and somehow they figured out they had the same birthday, and it was awesome.
It was magical, man. I remember we was at that Mexican restaurant down in Orlando at the Disney spot.
We're actually going to Orlando this weekend, so I
No
may have to take
way.
her back there. Yeah, with the kids. Yeah, little
Man,
Disney action.
you gotta love it, man. You gotta love it. Well, before we jump into the podcast, I know you. I know a lot about you, but this may be the first time someone's ever learned about Ryan, and I don't know how that could even be possible. But if you don't mind, just maybe sharing a little bit about your background, where you went to school, where you live, what you do. Let's learn a little bit more about yourself, if you don't mind painting that story for us.
Yeah. So I'm one of four. Grew up with I had three older sisters in Novi, Michigan, and went to undergrad at Michigan State and then down to Ohio State for optometry school. So I joke with my friends that I'm a Sparty Buck, Spartans before Buckeyes, Buckeyes before everybody else. And then I did my residency at the Illinois College of Optometry in primary care and ocular disease. So really educationally, I was in the Midwest. And then my heart was set, though, and lo and behold, to move down to North Carolina. And I moved down to Charlotte, North Carolina in 2013 and have been in the Carolinas ever since. Met my wife here. We have two beautiful kids, Amelia and Brody. And when I moved down here, I was in Charlotte. I now live in Asheville, and we'll talk about that whole process. But I now have a 4-location sublease practice where we sublease next to Lens Crafters with Dr. Rachel Rubel. And yeah, man, busy, but all good stuff. All good stuff.
Yeah, it's funny, busy, and lots of opportunities, lots of things have taken place since you've come out of optometry school. And today's topic was really to discuss branding, personal brand. How can you build a brand in eye care? And that's something that you have done an incredible job with. I mean, to go from graduating from optometry school to now having 4 practices to many other business ventures and have a family at the same time. Let's just say you've done a hell of a job, man. And I really want to, dive deep into, how that has taken place and, maybe start from the beginning because I mean, I know this is not something that you just started as soon as you got out of school. This is probably something that started many moons ago, probably while you were in optometry school or even before optometry school. So if you don't mind, man, just maybe really breaking down, your take on how you got started with building a brand, Ryan.
Yeah, I think it came down to getting involved from the get-go. And so in optometry or in undergrad, I was president of the pre-optometry interest group at Michigan State. And then coming into Ohio State, I ran for class president, did not prepare, and got my butt kicked by Lindsay Diefenbacher, who came in. She had a beautiful setup there. She absolutely dominated. And I learned from that experience because I came in with just a couple cliff notes and she had prepared beautifully. So then I ran for AOSA trustee and trustee elect and was part of the AOSA, board, ended up running for AOSA president. And I really prepared for that, prepared a good speech and spent time really diving into that. And so just getting really involved in optometry school and unraveling the many different facets and many different things that really take place in our profession. whether it's organized optometry, whether it's industry, whether it's private practice, commercial practice, all across the board. I learned an absolute ton as a student. So my advice for any students watching is dive in right away when you have the opportunity to get involved as a student and stay involved.
I love
So
it.
you
I love it, man. It's and that's something that I have the opportunity and a pleasure and a blessing to be able to talk to a lot of students on behalf of my eye doctor or Defocus Media or Black Eye Care Perspective. And that's the one thing that I tell them: get involved in school, really start to build your network. Find people that are like minded like you, because your classmates, your teammates, these are going to be the people that's going to help pull you up and lift you up. During school, but also when you get out of school, you'll be amazed how many people can put you in position to live your dream, to accomplish that goal that you want to take place. And you're clearly a prime example of exactly that. So I'm glad that you really stress and emphasize the importance of being active and being known while you're in optometry school.
I'll tell you what, man, then when you get out, keep it going, right? Get in, as involved as you can as a new graduate, because I will tell you that all eyes are on the new graduates. They want to know, what are they thinking? What are they doing? What influences their decision making? Because over time you build habits, and the new grads come out with this fresh, forward thinking perspective that seasoned optometrist industry, healthcare in general looks at and applauds and is excited about. And so getting out and being involved in, blogging, or, posting on social media, or going to local, chapters, whether you have like a local organized optometry group, a state or national optometry meetings that you can go to, all of those things really pave a nice pathway. And you, Darryl, you've had the opportunity, you just mentioned a number of different things you're involved in. Talk about brand building. You've built a number of awesome companies,
I
and
appreciate
you built a beautiful platform, and they can just watch what you've been doing this whole time and take notes,
it.
right? Take notes in every step of the way, because it's really important to see others that are influencing the profession and understanding how they got there and what they're doing, and, pick their brain and learn more about how they got to where they are, and then pave your own pathway.
I appreciate that, man. And something that I really wanted to piggyback on and expand, and I hope everyone really caught it, was the consistency. Don't just do it in school. Make sure you do it when you get out of school, when you're practicing, because it makes a big difference. When you're doing things consistently, you can start to develop that habit more than anything. And then before you know it, it's just a normal thing that you do on a regular basis.
I love it, man. I absolutely love it. But I will tell you too, one thing that's hit me as of recently is that when life changes, right? When you have life comes in seasons, when I came out of optometry school, I was single. And then all of a sudden, I fell in love and I was married. And then all of a sudden we have kids. And so we have more than just my wife and I. Life comes in many different seasons, and you have a certain amount of bandwidth and energy to devote to those things. So it's okay that during some of these seasons to press the pause button, take a step back, and reflect on, what are you doing, why are you doing it, what do you want to do moving forward, how are you going to present yourself personally, professionally, to your patients, to your practice, to your fellow colleagues, to your community. All those things are really important. Consistency is definitely key, but it's okay to press the pause button too when life gets really, really busy and you have to sit there and think about, what am I going to do next.
Yeah, that's a great point. And sometimes it can get tricky because when you're building a brand, you want to stop, but you also want to keep going. But like you said, life just has its way of just saying, hey, I'm here. You're going to have to dial that back. And, I ran into an issue with that at one point in time, and I was able to reach out to you and get some advice. And the one thing that I love that you told me was that you really have to look at everything you're doing and really look at the ROI, not just from a financial point, but, a family point, a spiritual point, a physical point. You really have to figure out in life, what is going to give you the best return for what you want in life. And that was one of those moments that really changed my life. And I feel great that I'm able to reach out to people like you, to people like Dr. Ham, Dr. Ramsey, Dr. Lyerly, Dr. Johnson, Dr. Cleaver. I mean, the list goes on and on, to be able to have that circle of people that really are there for me when I need them. Another person is Dr. Javier Cyan. I mean, I really, really love that guy. His mind is just so powerful. And shout out to Dr. Javier. I don't know if you caught his TED talk, man, but he's
Oh,
doing
I
some
loved it.
things in the industry. You're talking about branding. He has really taken his brand to the next level, and he has really elevated optometry with this TED talk as well. So very special guy out there as well. But that ROI, that's something that you have to really look at when it comes to looking at your brand and how you want to build out your brand as well. Looks like we got some people in the room. Tony is always a great colleague out there, always showing love on the Defocus Media platform. Dr. Jennifer, she actually lives in the town that you're from. She had mentioned that earlier on in the comments. I don't know if you peeped that or not, but she's representing your hometown.
Ooh, Novi, Michigan. Heck yeah. Hi, Dr. Jennifer.
That's pretty
That is
cool, man.
it's a small world. Hey, it's a small world, and optometry is even smaller, right? So another, thing for everybody to keep in mind as you go about creating a professional brand is do it the right way,
Yeah.
right? Do it the right way with, your best foot forward, and, do your best, forget the rest, make mistakes, but make them by trying hard and trying the right way.
Yeah, I like that. And I want to actually expand on that a little bit more too. I mean, doing it the right way. When you're building a brand, especially in eye care, just in life in general, it's very important to have a digital footprint. And I know for me, I have a website, I have my different social media handles, but where's the best place to start when you're building a brand in general, especially in eye care and healthcare? Because again, you've done so many things. If you Google your name, a million and one things pop up. In certain things, your name pops up. You've done consulting. You've pretty much touched everything in eye care. But how important is that digital footprint when it comes to building a brand?
It's astronomical. I mean, it's honestly, it's everything nowadays, right? Think about the internet, where it was before we got into undergrad, Darryl.
Yeah,
Think about life then, and then think about where it is now, and then think about what the internet's going to be like for when our kids, your son is 4, right? My
yeah,
daughter's
sure.
4.
Yep,
When
same.
our oldest are going to be hitting even high school. So one of the things that I think about every time that I post online is, how is this going to represent me, but also when my kids look at these things one day, right? Because they will Google their parents and they will see what
Absolutely.
comes up. But let's take a step back though. How do you go ahead and position yourself as an optometrist? What do you want to achieve? If you want to go and you want to start, having more, connections with people in industry across the board, LinkedIn's a fantastic place because everybody's on there.
Yeah,
Start putting out videos and written content and pictures. Instagram, a lot of people are doing a really great job on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and Twitter. I mean, there's a lot of places where you can post, but you could even go ahead and start your own blog and then share out your content across all different facets. And we
yeah,
have a lot of optometrists like, Dr. Joseph Allen, Dr. IHealth, who are doing awesome things on YouTube. And YouTube is something that if you go ahead and search your name, those things index in Google search and people can find you that way as well.
yeah.
But you really have to think about, what do you want to achieve?
Yeah, it's the second largest search engine out there. So why not? Like you
It's
definitely want to
big.
capitalize on video content for sure. And I know you've done a great job. Dr. Joey Allen has done a great job. Who else is out there?
Melanie Denton's doing a really good job with,
Out of
Eye
Salisbury,
School,
North
Dr. D.
Carolina.
Yeah.
Yep. She's doing a phenomenal job as well. So there's some names out there that have really made a big splash and impact. And again, at the end of the day, the reason why I love eye care and the reason why I love this new generation of young docs coming out and being very hard on social media is that we're uplifting optometry. People are understanding what we're all about. People are, clicking our names, they're getting eye exams, they're having a better understanding of what certain conditions are. It's not just some random person out there talking about the world of optometry. So for me, I love that piece.
Well, there's already enough misleading information on the internet. Things where people will post in Reddit and underground forums, and things where, even just big publications will go ahead and put together articles that maybe aren't straightforward about eye care and what we do in our profession. And so the more positive noise that we can make as optometrists and, professionals on social media, the better it is for the profession.
Yeah.
By educating the consumer, right? Educating everybody that's out there. Of course, all the doctor education that takes place as well, but educating the public is absolutely huge.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. While I have you on here, I mean, we've talked a lot about branding and stuff, which is great. But, I really like to have conversations with you about life, about leadership, about things like that. So I want to kind of pivot here a little bit.
Sure.
And I would really love to learn a little bit more about, how you goal set, because it's the top of the year. A lot of ODs have started to set goals. Some have already failed those goals. What tips, what advice can you give when it comes to goal setting to prepare for the year or to prepare for branding? I mean, if you don't mind, maybe sharing a little bit of some of your wonderful wisdom that you have over at Ryan Reflects, if you don't mind.
I will definitely share that, Darryl, and I love to. I love setting goals, but I also like trying to build really good habits, and I feel like they go hand in hand. You set goals, and a lot of those goals over time, if you stay consistent, you develop really nice habits. So every year I go ahead and I set personal and professional goals. I also set aside with my wife, and we do it quarterly, and we'll talk about family goals and things that we want to achieve as a family. And I love doing that because it kind of brings her back to maybe some of the big picture things that I want in my life personally and professionally. Even though we have those conversations all the time, we can always come back to this and say, hey, were we, on point with some of the things that we set out to do, you and I together? And life is ever changing, right? You can sit there and you can set them quarterly, you can set them monthly, you can set them weekly, whatever works for you. But I just go ahead and use Google Docs to store all that information. And I use Notion as a project management tool to go ahead and store my to do lists, which I have a bunch of them. And it's a really cool platform that you can organize to your liking. And it's super high level, but it's also free. There's a
Nice.
paid version, but it's free and it's really, really awesome. And then I found there's a million and one habit tracking apps out there. You just got to find out which one works best for you. I use a paid one through the Apple iOS, which is called Super Habit.
Okay.
It's really simple. You go and you click through the habit, and you can see, over a week time frame or over a large period of time if you're hitting those goals, and you can set how the frequency of how often you want to go ahead and track off those habits. But I'll tell you what, it really keeps you accountable, right? Because if you go
Yeah.
ahead and you reflect back on these things, you can see over time how have you evolved as a person and also professionally.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. And I love that digital piece. And sometimes that digital piece can get me in trouble. I'll write down all these things and sometimes not go back to it. I was having a call the other day with my colleague from Black Eye Care Perspective, Dr. Essence Johnson, and she challenged me this year to actually write down my goals, write down the things that I do every single day. So I actually just purchased, it's funny we're talking about this now, these different books from online where you can, really write down the habits and
Oh, I
make
love it.
things. And,
Yeah.
I'm gonna start that probably in the next week or so just to see how that goes. But one thing that you touched on that I really love, and that was family goals. To incorporate your significant other into your goal planning can really get them to buy in and to also really get them to support you when you're trying to achieve that goal or get to that point. So that's something that, I have a quick conversation with my wife, but I don't actually sit down and show her the different goals. Maybe a financial goal, but it needs to be a little bit more than that. It needs to be that full picture. So I'm really going to try to implement that into my household as well. That was a gem. That was a good heavy bar that you dropped there. So I appreciate
Well,
that.
well, Darryl, I'm going to give you one step forward on that too. If you take a piece of paper and you draw two lines, and then you put your wife's name, Darryl on the other side, obviously, and right in the center, you put both. You
Mm,
can have her separate goals, you can have your personal goals, and then you can have all of the ones that you guys kind of share responsibility together.
very
And
nice.
I'll tell you what, shout out to my wife. One of the things that she's super in touch with is just our monthly budget on groceries and what we're spending. And we moved to Asheville recently, and there's no Costco here, and we were trying to make everything work. And we're like, we're gonna switch it up and go to Sam's Club. We're gonna get a Sam's Club membership. And she started like, oh my goodness, look at all these things are so much more, cost effective. And I was like, bingo, you nailed it. And she put that on her goals of like just being more cost effective with the grocery budget. It's the very simple things that are huge.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to my guy, Bob Rodney. If anyone does not know who Bob Rodney is, this is a guy that you need to know. I've actually read that book, so I'm gonna step
Great
back.
book.
Bob was very instrumental in the organization I was a part of before we partnered with my eye doctor, Eye Care Associates. When you talk about someone that knows optometry inside and out, operations, business, this is the guy. Screen cap this name because he can take your practice to the next level. He can take your life to the next level. This gentleman has truly been instrumental in my career, along with Dr. Stephen Bullock, who was a part of Eye Care Associates, who was the owner of Eye Care Associates. Both of those gentlemen, I just want to give a shout out to because they really made a big difference in who I am as a physician today and just my personal brand today as well. So I just wanted to give them a shout out. I'm glad to see you on here, man, showing some love and some support like you always do. But it's always great to see our colleagues out there supporting us. I guess because we're building great brands, right?
Well, Daryl, can I take reverse roles here for a second and,
Yeah,
and, and
fire
shoot a
away.
question back to
Yeah,
you?
fire away, man. Let's make it happen.
You've built a beautiful personal brand, right? And then you've also parlayed those brands into some very amazing businesses. how have you done that? Right? I'm sure everybody would love to know, and I know you share your story all the time, but not this way in regards to how have you taken it from not only Dr. Darryl Glover into all those different things?
Yeah, man, that's a great question. And it's one of those things where for me, I was able to figure out what my purpose is a little earlier on. And with my purpose, I really kind of made sure that I align myself with brands that can amplify who I am. And if those brands weren't available, then I developed that brand, but partner with someone else that shared the same vision and the same purpose. And that's how, Defocus Media was birthed with Dr. Jennifer Lyerly. Fantastic, very intelligent, just all around beautiful person inside out. Same thing with Black Eye Care Perspective. Met with Adam, and he had a vision, I had a vision. There were certain things he was great at, certain things that I was great at, certain things I sucked at, certain things he sucked at, and we both complimented each other, you know. And even with Africa Media, Obi Malopi. I always say that's my brother from another mother out in South Africa. Him and I again had the same purpose, had the same vision, and just being able to take that and align it to whatever I'm doing. I never work a day in my life, and I'm able to build these brands because everything I do aligns with it. And even with my eye doctor, our purpose at my eye doctor is to help patients live their best lives. And, my purpose is to create the state of happiness through the art of vision. And you can see how those two things align. Even the core values in that organization and my personal core values, they align. So I really team myself up with organizations or build brands that truly align with who I am as a person. So I never really work a day in my life, and everything is just always authentic and real.
That gave me goosebumps. And you want to know why? Because you're very authentic with how you do it. You're very authentic with excuse me, every step in the process, and you've collaborated too. You're not just taking things on by yourself. You're finding people that have a shared vision, and you go ahead and take on your strengths and you take on their strengths, and you guys go ahead and collaborate to build great things. And I collaborated with Dr. Rachel Rubel to build out North Lake Eye, and an awesome team we have. So we have some awesome doctors on our team and awesome staff, and collaboration is a great way to continue to really amplify your strengths, but also support your weaknesses, right? And there are
Absolutely.
certain things that we are all very good at, and there are certain things that we are all, could use a lot more help and assistance. And delegating some of those things to people that are really strong was really smart of you.
Absolutely, man. And that's one of the secret sauces for me is my wife. My wife holds
Mm.
it down, man. Like, there's a lot of things that I may struggle with, but I have that resource, I have that backbone that I can reach out to, whether it's proofreading something, whether it's a contract, whether it's me trying to look fly. By the way, that's the person, my wife dresses me. She's the one that keeps me fly. I mean, I'm starting to get it now, but that's the secret sauce in my life. Shout out to my love, my wife, Adiola. I know sometimes she watches this. But you're right, man. You got to really just partner with people that can complement you and make you better. And you're talking about Dr. Rachel. Oh my goodness, rock star. I feel so blessed and so honored to have her to be a part of North Carolina. Like she really represents us well. And, if anyone ever has the opportunity to, number one, sit down and have a conversation with Dr. Ryan, you guys, please do it. Number two, if you have an opportunity to sit down with Dr. Rachel, oh my goodness, soak up everything that you can because she is a rock star. She has dedicated her life to optometry and she has all the answers. I'm telling you, she has literally all the answers. And Ryan, I'm pretty sure you could definitely vouch for that as well.
She's one smart cookie, and she's a hard worker and really works hard for this profession. So that's been a huge blessing for our partnership.
Yeah, let's talk about that partnership a little bit because sometimes partnerships can be a little dicey, right? Not everyone can say they've had a success that we've had with finding the right partners to partner with and build something special. When you're looking for a partner and when you're looking for someone to complement your personal brand and turn it into a professional brand, what are you looking for? Like, what are the things that you look for to make sure that that person is the right fit for you and the right person that's the perfect fit for your brand?
Yeah, it comes down to, like you said, common goals, common values, common belief systems. Rachel and I are both, Catholics. And so that, was something that we and aligned with. Her husband's a Catholic. We're all from Michigan. So she's actually from the thumb. I'm down a little further towards Metro Detroit. So we had that Michigan connection. And
Sweet.
she was super involved right when I got to North Carolina area. She was president of the local society there. And Just all those things, just having conversations and taking that leap of faith. And honestly, the leap of faith comes to the point where you go ahead and you start the partnership, and you go ahead and build from there. You build trust over time. Trust is not developed right away, right? Trust is something where you go ahead and you put forth the effort and you do the right things, and over time you build that trust. And you're fortunate to find a good partner. And if you maybe get into a partnership with somebody that you do not feel like is the right partner, then you have to know how to have those conversations, and maybe you go ahead and dissolve that partnership. But a lot of it comes down to being fortunate and being faithful about it, and praying about it, and being blessed with the right opportunity presenting itself to partner with somebody who has shared common goals and values.
Amen to that. Just that's it. I mean, that we can end the show on that note. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it, man. And then also just having that support cast, right? Because sometimes, like yes, your partner is going to be there. They're going to be great. Sometimes they're going to be there. You're gonna be like, what the hell is going on? But having that support system at home to bring you back to reality, or friends and colleagues, makes a big difference as well. I'm so happy with my support. I'm so blessed. Like my system that I keep around me, I try to keep a good cadence of communicating. Even with you, we met, maybe was it less than a month ago, and we were talking, and I was like, Ryan, we need to keep this cadence going, man. We can't just stop here. We got to speak on a monthly or quarterly basis just to catch up. And that's why we're here today, because we were just like, we have things going on, but we always got to stay committed to our friends, our colleagues, and make sure that we can uplift each other, but always be there for whenever we need each other.
One of the kind of unique, I would say even different habits that I try to stay consistent on is outreach. So reaching out to somebody new, every day, if at all possible, just to check in on them, see how they're doing, show them that I care, and just touch base, right? It's the simple things in life, these relationships, like you said, you may have had a relationship with somebody from elementary school, high school, optometry school, post-grad, whatever it may is. If you see something on social media and you just send them a message and say, hey, how you doing? I want to check in, see what's going on. That is something that, you may even be a blessing in their life at that time, and you didn't even realize it was happening, and a little sign, just kind of checking from God. So
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, check it out, man. This has been great. I want to leave on two things. Number one, I would love for you to maybe share a little bit more about Ryan Reflects. You're just full of wisdom. If you don't mind just breaking down that brand, what does that mean? What does that hold? How can people get in touch with you? If you don't mind just maybe giving us a good overview of what that's all about.
yeah, Ryan Reflects came about during COVID, when we just had our second child, right? I had Brody James, um, April 23rd, 2020. So the world shut down, right? And I was thinking about my family and what the future was going to look like. And I'm like, I want to have a kind of an outlet, almost like a personal blog outlet, where I'm reflecting back on things and sharing insight and wisdom. A couple different things there. I really am a self-help junkie. So personal and professional development content, helping people,
Me too.
achieve their passions, their goals. And so I'll continue to put out content for more so eye care professionals and healthcare professionals, also helping that next generation. So being there to reflect back on my journey as a professional, and helping that next generation of ODs and eye care professionals come through and be successful. Because I will tell you this, Darryl, there is so many different ways, as you know it, to be happy and successful in this profession. You don't have to be a practice owner. You don't have to be an associate. You don't have to be in corporate or private. You can be every different pathway. It could be anything, right? It could be in
Absolutely.
any medium, industry, yeah, academia. There's a lot of different ways to enjoy this profession and to be happy and successful. And we need to support each other, and really help grow this profession by promoting and really lifting each other up. So that's really what the content is all around. It's about being, more of a positive, forward thinking optometrist who has a, fresh perspective on life by being a family man and a man who's driven to succeed and help others.
I love it. I love it. And this really tees you up for the next question, which that might have been the answer. But you've done so much in eye care. You're still very young in your career, a rock star, still got so much to give and to add to the industry. But what do you want to be known for? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind for optometry, but also for your family?
Yeah, a positive, forward thinking thought leader that supports this profession and is able to help the next generation and the current generation of optometrists know that there is no wrong way to go about, doing what you do and helping others. And, it could be in any vertical, any medium, any platform, whatever it may be, right? you can be successful in optometry by helping others and doing your absolute best. And we need to lift up the profession, because I feel like there's just so much division amongst many different spaces, and I feel like if we all come together, man, oh man, we can be a very, very, very powerful profession, not only for each other but for the public, and really how we help others.
Absolutely. And I love that. Keep in mind, everyone, we're the gatekeepers into the healthcare system. It starts with us. We see so much by just looking at the back of the eye. We could be the leaders in healthcare. We just have to make sure we step up and we continue to build our brands and continue to work together, continue to build more diversity, continue to just show the world that we are great as a profession and great people. Thank you so much, Ryan, man. I really appreciate you coming on the show this evening and hanging out with me. There's a few people that I always look forward to having on the show. You're definitely one. That's why you've been here 3 times. I almost want to make this a quarterly show, man, simply because I love it. You know what I'm saying? I always learn so much from you, whether it's us doing this, whether it's us just having a conversation or just tapping in and checking in with each other. I love it, man. But if you don't mind just sharing with everyone where they can find you online, so if they want to learn more about personal branding or want some help with consulting, or even if they're looking to partner with you with one of your locations, if you don't mind just leaving your contact information.
Yeah. So Ryan reflects on all forms of social, and then my website is just ryancourt.com. And my email is ryan.court1@gmail.com. And I'm pretty easily accessible on LinkedIn as well, as you know. So
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. It's your favorite optometrist, Dr. Darryl Glover, and the mighty and amazing Dr. Ryan Court. Stay healthy, positive, and blessed. And until next time, peace.